Hi Raquel, let's take a look at your first set of essays. Okay, the schools, should they be more entertaining or just educate? Let's see what you said. The ideal model of schools divides opinion nowadays. While some people argue schools have the single rule to teach, role to teach, others defend schools can also be enjoyable. I believe it is possible to learn while having ing fun, and this essay will explain the reasons using examples shown by recent research to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, I felt like this little phrase here was a little awkward. While some people argue that the single role of schools is to teach. That's how I think you should have said it. Other than that, it's okay. Firstly, students are more interested when the school promotes, with an S, dynamic activities than when they have to stay in the classroom for too long. This is because the traditional classroom model is monotonous, whereas educational games and other interactive activities can make learning more fun. For example, recent research without the A, in Toronto has shown if those children play a ludic game, they will be able to read faster. Therefore, okay, it is possible to combine education, get rid of the with entertainment without losing ing, the quality of the learning. Okay, so I'm not really a huge fan of your example here, simply because it doesn't match what you just said in the previous sentence. So you're telling me that it makes learning more fun, but your example says that games just make children learn faster. So these two things are not synonymous. They don't fit with each other. So it's not really a well-supported argument. I hope you understand what I mean. If you have any questions, you can ask me in an email. All right. So, secondly, there are lots of activities that develop other important skills in a child that will help them in the future, such as spatial awareness, cognitive abilities, and physical abilities, even though they are not learning traditional content. Singular, not plural here. Okay, this is due to the fact that the modern world demands multiple, single, no S, abilities which do... Okay, we have a problem here. So, multiple abilities which did not used to be taught in schools, but currently are crucial. It's a difficult sentence. It had some problems grammatically, so this is what you need to do to fix it. Take, for example, playing soccer or tennis, which can create physical abilities. What? Okay, get rid of the take, because every time I see people try to use take in a sentence like this, the sentence becomes really awkward. So let's just remove it for clarity's sake and say instead, for example, playing soccer or tennis can create physical abilities, and playing a board game can improve the concentration, logical thinking, and perseverance. Okay, fine. What you need to then do is just wrap it up, saying that, therefore, other activities at school are important in teaching children skills or something along those lines. Okay, so to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that it is possible to educate children combining traditional educational methods and entertainment. Okay, this can also help developing other skills required these days. All right, so let's see. So there was a problem here with the development of your argument, and this is fine, but the problem then is that you say traditional educational methods. Nowhere in your essay, though, did you discuss educational methods. So we always advise against putting things in your conclusion that you didn't mention or didn't develop anywhere in your body paragraphs. So please be careful with that, okay? Alrighty, so for your first essay, it's fine. There are some good things. There's some grammar problems, though, so I want you to be a little more aware of them, be a little cautious with the types of grammar mistakes you're making. Let's take a look at your second essay. Alright, so let's take a look at this one about the enjoyable activity with a child. It can develop two things. Be careful here. You have to develop better skills and creativity. So let's see how you talked about this topic. It is very common to see parents reading to their young children to introduce them to academic life and to develop their imagination. However, recent studies suggest entertaining practices would be more beneficial to their development. I strongly advocate that the better approach depends on each child, and this essay will discuss both sides. And this essay will discuss both sides using examples to show points and support arguments. Okay. On one hand, the probability of creating good readers increases with an S if the parents start to read to their children in childhood. Okay, first of all, we don't use kids in IELTS essay. It's far too informal, so we always prefer the word children. Grammatically, this doesn't work, so you have to say when they start to read in childhood. Okay, this is because children can develop imagination and creativity through reading, and then become a lover of books, or a book lover, from an early age. For example, a recent research, again, no A in front of research, it's uncountable, in the University of Sao Paulo, has shown that the adults who read more, has shown the adults who read more usually had parents initiate their readings since the time they were babies. Tricky sentence. You had some problems with it grammatically again, so be a little careful. I'm glad that you're trying to do these more grammatically sophisticated sentences, but please be careful and try to keep the accuracy up. On the other hand, like most rules, there are some exceptions, and many children do not develop any skill with early reading. No and. In these cases, parents should notice that in advance, because that probably is not the best time, not better, best. Full stop. Perhaps they are not emotionally mature enough, and pushing ing them can turn them off from reading. Therefore, enjoyable activities can encourage that kind of child to develop creativity and imagination. Okay, this is not the way I wanted you to develop this. While the previous paragraph was fine, here you're not arguing against reading, but you have to talk about how other activities can promote other skills. So here is where you want to talk about how perhaps drawing can help develop creativity in a child, or perhaps it can develop fine motor skills which cannot be developed through reading. Or maybe you want to talk about sports, how sports develops problem-solving abilities and thinking outside the box. Also how it develops teamwork, competitive spirit, endurance, persistence, etc., etc., etc. So that's how you were supposed to develop this part of the essay, okay? And not to essentially talk about the drawbacks of reading necessarily here. In conclusion, from the examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that parents have to pay attention if their children respond, you're right, well to reading, because reading, ing, to them can engage good readers. I don't think you mean engage here. Can create good readers, but can also traumatize them if they're not ready. Okay, so there's some nice elements here, but suddenly it's like you get to these points where the grammar just becomes really problematic and the meaning of the sentence doesn't come through. So that's where you have to be a little careful with some of these challenging sentences. I already explained to you what the problem with the development of this paragraph was. And of course we talked a good deal about the previous paragraph. So now let's talk, Raquel, about what you need to do. The first thing you need to do is correct these essays based on my suggestions and then send that file back to us. The second thing you need to do is you need to create an error correction list where you take the errors that were pointed out to you, and then next to each mistake, write down what the corrected version is. This is a list that you're going to add to with each video correction you get back. Okay, so send that to us as well. The third thing, of course, that you need to send is your newest set of essays. Try to do all of this within the next day or so you can keep your momentum up and really apply everything you've been learning, okay? So, I'll be waiting for them. Good luck. You've got a handful of things to do, so I'll let you get to it. Good luck, and I'll wait to see what you write next.